We have the Aries Chiron Kazemi coming up, and you can go to that video to get insights on what that's really all about. This message is to expound on what the intention is with Chiron and how this relates to where we're going with Gemini Uranus, and how it also relates to the Saturn transit between both Aries and Taurus over a 7-year period, which also will include some of Cancer. Now, Uranus, Chiron is in orbit between Saturn and Uranus. Chiron represents a wounding crisis that holds potential for both wisdom and genius. Wisdom and genius. The healing outcome of Chiron is wisdom. The progressive opportunity of Chiron is genius. The healing value of Chiron is related to Saturn. The progressive genius aspect of Chiron and progression of Chiron is held by Uranus. When we are looking at a Kazemi, the Kazemi relates to freeing Chiron from the limitations of Saturn and what we hold with Chiron of pains, of fears, of limitations, restrictions, inadequacies, challenges where karmic cycles have taught us our mortality, our limitations, and the demand on us to realize that suffering is a choice, liberation is a choice, slavery is a choice to said pain or wound. The pain or the wound is there holding an offering. And as I mentioned, when Saturn is teaching us what this pain could mean, when Saturn is introducing us to what this pain could mean, karma is behind it. The development of strength, accountability, duty, responsibility, all turn inwards toward the womb, in which we examine ourselves in those karmic cycles that Chiron is activated by, and we see that there's opportunity for self-empowerment and healing. And what the healing looks like is realizing the meaning of the process, the meaning of the karmic burden. That's where the healing is at, realizing the meaning and the value of the karmic burden. Realize inward and not externally. A Kazemi, it vitalizes Chiron. It presents illumination or greater awareness to Chiron It also resets the cycles of Chiron, and it lends this outcome of the Cazimi to Uranus. This is where the pain of wound and held wisdom becomes a confirmed act of liberation in the self. It becomes a reclaim of authenticity in the self after finding one's way out of those restrictions of that ring of Saturn. This is changing the context of how Chiron is relating to Saturn. Rather than the inner rings, Chiron now will relate to the outer rings of Saturn in its genius, progressive wisdom, and claim of its individuality and authenticity, which is the force behind Uranus' expression, making it quite electrical, shocking, charged with very heavy truth. Truth that stuns and shocks. Truth that causes earthquakes. Genius that shoots us through many timelines. Higher wisdom. Higher intellect. And it was all birthed from the pain. This is what's hosting a new context of Uranus in Gemini. The new context has to relate to Gemini from Aries, because Aries represents the first house, self, and personality. Self and personality has a duality with the heart, the soul, Leo, and the fifth house. So this is first house and fifth house, which is what Gemini consists of. First house, self-realization, and fifth house, self-realization. That there are two perspectives, there are 2 points to examine from, there are 2 points to consider all things from, and with 2 eyes we have depth perception. It takes 2 eyes to have depth perception. So the depth perception of the self from the first house and the fifth house. Aries and Leo. Thus, stellium in Aries, the initiative of South Node Leo kicking off this transit, and it harmonizes the dual nature of Gemini, which is first and fifth house of the self. Aries and Leo of the self. Uranus is a very powerful energy. It is who we are after we have accepted and aligned with truth. When our nervous system has become compatible and tempered by truth. When our intellect operates in agreement with truth. That's a very high and powerful frequency. Not many people can tap into that frequency. It is very honest. It is very truthful. It is very direct. It is pure genius. It not only recognizes patterns, but it also sees the value in patterns recognized. Opportunity in patterns recognized. The good and the bad. Uranus is a frequency that only operates in authenticity. Uranus is out of the restrictions of Saturn. It is after Saturn. So when you find your way out of the matrix, when you brave your way out of the matrix, when you make it out of those inner rings of Saturn, finally, when you set yourself free, when you allow yourself to be free by braving those pains of Chiron. And those pains of Chiron are the pains of truth. It's the pains of reality. It's the pains of realism. And it's our responsibility to put it in perspective towards self-empowerment, towards wisdom, toward freedom and liberation of the self. It's where the wisdom enters through. Active wisdom, active empowerment, active healing. And that healing is to ascend in spiritual comprehension, in which the self has eternal conflict with its reality through Saturn, active karma. When we learn to align with the messaging that's being held in that pain, align with the truth that's being held in that intensification of pain, we are conjuring Uranus. This is where our brilliance finally comes to surface, where the things that we say and the things that we do are not monotonous, futile, tiring, boring, a repeat, something that's predictable, something that somebody can finish your sentences or somebody can predict what you're about to do next. No, it's futuristic because it's free. It is liberated. It is who you are when you are liberated. And the access point is Chiron. Where Chiron is at in its transit tells us the current or active point of access to Uranus, which is identity, self, authentication of the identity, authentication of the self. There are pains, there are harsh realities to align with, to face, to digest, to swallow, to accept, as we access the outer orbit of Saturn to meet Uranus, where our genius is already prepared for us. This allows us to download genius. Genius doesn't come from a thought that was generated from you. It comes from your access to eternal knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Every genius that you will ever download already exists. It cannot be embodied, it cannot be received if there is an inconsistency or blockage or misalignment with who you really are authentically. If your relationship with truth has you to be a fugitive, If you're someone who runs away from truth, you dodge truth, you can't take it, your nervous system can't handle it, you can't embody it, you can't receive the download of Uranus. The more you can face and deal with truth, the more electricity of Uranus that you will be able to receive and embody and create the future through, innovate the future through, raise the frequency of the people, raise the frequency of yourself, of your life, of your generation, of your society, of your nation, of your household, your community, your legacy. People who operate through Uranus, they have a very intense energy about themselves. They spin the opposite way. They contradict collective agreement. They always seem to show up against or in opposition to status quo. They're unpredictable. You don't know what they're about to say. You don't know what they're about to do. They're always ahead of you. Light years ahead. Things come out of their mouth and things come from the works of their hands that you just won't understand in the current moment. Because in the current time, most people are within the inner rings of Saturn. We cannot comprehend Uranus from the perspective of the inner rings of Saturn. We have to brave stepping out of the inner rings of Saturn, which is the conformity, the karmic limitations, the fear, the control. Fear and control. Ignorance. Being distracted by greed and competition. Shadow 8. Materialism. These lower frequencies. These dark forces. When Uranus acts through a person, it makes sense later. It's understood later. The value of that lightning bolt is appreciated later. So you may speak from a download of Uranus and people will scratch their head and they'll say, okay, this sounds crazy. Why would you say that? That just makes no sense. That's ridiculous. Who does that? Who says that? That's when you know Uranus is present. That's when you know someone channels Uranus. Because if you wait a little while, you will see that person was right. They were precise. You will see that although they seem radical, maybe even crazy, rebellious, revolutionary, high intensification, sometimes very aggressive, weird and strange. You haven't heard it before. You haven't seen it before. You never thought of it that way. That is Uranus, my people. This is where we're headed. Uranus is going into Gemini. This is the mindset that we are building, or we are conditioning our nervous system to regulate. A free mind, a genius mind. Genius does not come from the inner you. You download it. And you allow it to channel through you. I'll give an example. Let's say in genius, someone like Michael Jackson writes this amazing song that lives on forever. Let's say one night he was thinking of, the song, Heal the World, okay? Heal the world, make it a better place for me and for you and the entire human race, okay? That didn't come from Michael Jackson. It didn't come from his internal. He downloaded it from Uranus, and it lives forever. It's futuristic. You understand? The song by, for example, Stevie Wonder. He wrote the song, or he sang the song Saturn. Okay? These genius type things, it doesn't come from you. You channel it. It's already in heaven. You channel it because you have the body, you have the conditioning that makes you real, that makes you authentic, that makes you truthful. Uranus ain't gonna fuck with you if you're fake. Uranus don't fuck with fake people. Weak people. People whose nervous system cannot handle or hold truth. And this is why I'm trying to show, I realize, okay, I may not have the best way of going about it, but I'm sincere and I'm consistent. And you people have to stop being so scared of truth. You have got to catch your nervous system up, because how long do we have before Uranus goes into Gemini? You don't want to miss any opportunities. Your body needs to be able to hold and receive the downloads of Uranus. Because if your body cannot hold it, when the genius comes, you're going to fear it. And you're going to send it back to heaven. You're going to reject it and hide from it. You're going to doubt. That genius will download through Gemini, which is your intellectual faculty and capacity. It would download to how you're supposed to progress and innovate your relationships, connections, and interactions to your local community, third house. Your intellectual approach to who you are and what you are here to do, and you will reject it every time the download presents itself. Uranus will send it to you, and you'll send it right back because you're too scared. You're afraid of what people are going to say. You're afraid of what people are going to do. You're afraid of disappointing someone. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of the threat of being isolated. Someone says you're crazy, or this makes no sense. Why would you say that, or this or that? If you don't have the body, the nervous system, you're going to reject Uranus. I'm telling you what I know, people. I have Uranus at the South Node conjunct Jupiter. I download heavier than a motherfucker. My downloads are heavy and hefty. I download all day. It's not my genius. I download the genius. And this is why the things that I say, it's like everything I say is shocking. Everything I say is, oh my God. Everything I say is pearl clutching. That's why I'm the infamous Uranus conjunct Jupiter. But one thing you can't say about me is that I'm inaccurate. I'm accurate every time. I'm correct every time. I'm right every time. Why? Because I have the body to hold the download of Uranus. I'm conditioned to hold and receive the download of Uranus. And I present every time through Uranus. It is a powerful and natural trait of my destiny at the South Node Sagittarius. And my sun placement is in the house of Uranus, 11th house. conjunct Mars. Mars Cazimi. I download all day. I know what this is about. And the things that come out my mouth, the things that I say, it's appalling. It's shocking. Oh my God. Why did he say, oh, this is just crazy. You wait a little while longer and you see, okay, he was making a point. Yeah, he was correct. Yeah, you know what? It turned out to be true. And that's the case with the download. It takes time to see or verify, confirm that it was indeed accurate. It was indeed true. That's Uranus. That's the electrical genius of Uranus that downloads. It doesn't mean I'm a genius. It means that I download the genius forces of Uranus because I have the nervous system to handle that truth. I can brave aligning with the truth that Uranus is telling me. I can brave aligning with the truth that Uranus shows me. I can brave speaking the truth that Uranus directs me to. If you a bitch, you can't do that. I have a Mars Cazimi at Gemini. Because of that Mars Cazimi, I am the epitome of bravery. I am a brave heart through and through with that Mars Cazimi. And because I'm a brave heart, I have a clear opening and pathway to the download of genius. Because when genius downloads, I won't fear it. I won't be scared. I won't be nervous. I won't hesitate. I will aim and shoot and not give a fuck who don't like it. Don't give a damn who thinks what about it. So this is what I'm trying to teach y'all. This is what I'm trying to show y'all. If you a bitch, you're going to block Uranus, not embody Uranus. If you pussy, you're going to reject Uranus. This is the point I'm making. So, after you view the previous video that I put up about Chiron, y'all watched it, you watched it over and over again, and you didn't hit the like button, which shows me you don't like the first thing I said in the video about truth. Okay? And that's another thing about Uranus. That was Uranus telling me to say that to you. It was shocking. It was disturbing. It was heavy. And I braved to say it, regardless of the consequences. Because I know y'all wasn't going to hit the like button. I know you was going to keep watching it in secret. But in your protest, in your disdain, you ain't going to hit the like button. You just going to keep on watching it. You gonna get pissed off, walk in a circle, and come back and watch a little more. Then get pissed off and watch a little more. Then you see, oh, it wasn't so bad. That's what you people are going to have to learn how to do. You're going to have to learn to stop being so fucking pussy. Y'all going to have to learn to stop being so bitch made. Because Uranus is going to Gemini. Especially in your communication, especially in your thought process, how you are processing and disseminating information. You have to be brave enough to look at what's being said, look at what's being done, and give an honest assessment of what information is moving around. But if you bitch made, you are going to cling to what everybody else is saying. You're going to cling to the status quo. You're going to cling to what's safe to think or interpret about your reality. It's to the point where you're conditioned to fear your own conclusions. You're conditioned to be afraid of what you have concluded in your heart, or to be to allow it to be made known what you have concluded and what you see and hear. You reject what you see and hear in yourself because you're afraid of being seen a certain way. Have I lied to y'all yet? Okay then. So what the fuck are you scared for? Fuck is y'all niggas. Y'all niggas is just y'all gotta find some guts. Y'all acting like straight bitches. Like for real. Y'all acting like some bitch ass niggas. For real, for real. Where your heart at? Where's your heart at? Where's your courage? Where's your boldness? Where's your resilience? Niggas is pussy out here, man. We can't get with Uranus being bitch made. Do you understand who Uranus is? That's Oba Shango, the god of thunder and lightning. Shango don't roll with bitches, man. He don't roll with punk ass niggas. He don't roll with pussy ass niggas. You gotta find some strength to align with Uranus. If you gon' fuck with Shango, you better be courageous. You better be bold. You better be unapologetic, authentic, real. Take that mask off. Fuck you scared for, nigga? I'm trying to show y'all this shit, man, to get real. What I really want you to take from this is that Chiron is between Saturn and Uranus. Crisis in your identity is between Saturn and Uranus. You have to pull your identity out of the restraints, confines, limitations, and fears of Saturn. You have to pay attention and learn from the karmic lessons that Saturn opportune you with in his classroom. And you have to come to brave conclusions about what you learn from that karma. You have to come to brave conclusions, bold conclusions, conclusions that set you free, not recycle you back into the same constraints and limitations of your fears. This is what I'm trying to show you all. And only the truth can set you free. Truth and Uranus is hand in hand. Uranus can only operate off of truthful frequencies. It can only be true and real. Uranus cannot fuck with fake energy. You can't be real, you can't be authentic and be a bitch made ass nigga at the same time. You can't be true and authentic and be pussy at the same time. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all niggas. You got to get on your thug shit. You got to get on your gangster shit. You got to get on your rebel, your revolutionary. You got to, you know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas got to get thugged out this motherfucker, man. I'm trying to show y'all the way. You want that proper shit. Y'all need to listen to some Master P Bout It or something. You know what I'm saying? Turn some fucking Master P on in the morning or some shit. Some Bout It. Like, I don't understand, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like y'all, it's like y'all niggas is scared to think outside the box, to think outside of what you used to. Somebody introduce a Uranus thought to you, you just fall apart. You fall on the floor. You gasping and crying. You running away. You mad. You angry. You folding your arms. Oh, how dare you say, oh my God, how can you say that? Uranus is to have the authenticity of an old man. You ever sit down and talk to an old man or an old lady and they say exactly what's on their heart? Yeah. They're keeping it real. I don't know, man. Anyway, I'm gonna just leave it right there. Sooner or later, y'all gonna get it. Sooner or later, y'all gonna understand. You know what I mean? I'm trying, people, but you gotta warn it. You gotta warn it. We're headed toward Uranus, Gemini, Gemini, Uranus. This is a free mind, a liberated mind. Do you know what it's like to walk around with a liberated mind, a free mind? It means you're not a crowd thinker. It means when you form an opinion, a thought, an agreement or disagreement, if you determine something is true or false, when you interpret what you see and hear and feel, you're not limiting it to what feedback you may or may not get from others. You're not limiting it to your anticipation or fear of what somebody's going to do or say to you. You're not putting it at the limitation of what you might lose or what harm may come to you because you made it known what you have concluded or what you see or what you know. This is what I'm trying to teach y'all to do. The shit I say may sound spaced out and crazy, but is it a lie? Did I lie yet? Did I tell one lie yet? Am I speaking hate speech? Come on, be honest. Am I speaking hate speech or am I simply being honest? Is it hate speech or is it honesty? My mind is free. My thoughts are free. My Gemini placement is at the 11th house. It's in the house of Aquarius. My Gemini placement is ruled by Uranus in the outer rings of Saturn. And I have the bravery to deliver it, to receive it, to embody it with that Mars Cazimi. So I show you every day how you got to get if you're going to align with your Gemini placement over the next 7 years. I'm showing y'all niggas every day how you got to get. I don't show up here proper. I'm authentic. I show you how fucked up I am. I show you how inconsistent I am. I show you my bad days and my good days. I come up here and I express myself realer than real. I don't read from some script being proper and walking on eggshells hoping that you like me in the way that I'm saying it. No, I give it to you real. I give it to you raw. Ain't no faking. It's all real. Do I beat around the bush? You got to learn how to do the same thing. A lot of y'all who've been following me long enough, you can look back and see the patterns. I may say something right now that don't make sense to you, and then later on, oh, okay, you know what, you was right. Yeah, you didn't notice the pattern yet? Nigga, I got a clear pathway between me and Uranus. And my Uranus is amplified by Jupiter. I got amps on my Uranus. I got super volts on my Uranus. High octane on my Uranus. My shit is an electrical storm. And in Sagittarius, yes, it comes out ignorant. It comes out undressed. It comes out unprofessional. It comes out wild. It's ruled by a centaur. But y'all niggas is crying over that because I smell a little funky and how I'm saying it. I don't wear deodorant when I talk. I don't have a haircut when I talk. I smell like outside when I talk. Is that the problem? Why y'all niggas can't get with it and you can't be supportive? You withhold your support because You don't like the delivery. You don't like how it feel. Oh, you don't like, how you gonna say, man, that's fucked up, man. Why you gonna say something like that, man? You better learn how to do the same thing. I don't know what you waiting on, because not only am I giving a message, I'm giving a demonstration of the energy that you have to learn how to embody yourself. You better take notes. You better get as real as I am, nigga. Fuck out of here, man. Come on, yo. Whenever we're dealing with Saturn and karmic transit 2.5 years at a time through sign and house, it benefits us to examine and investigate what this can mean personally, as far as what wisdom is this karmic cycle trying to get me to. What embodiment of personal enlightenment through access of pain am I supposed to get to? And that is through the transiting Chiron. The natal Chiron placement will always hold precedence over that meaning. And it holds precedence over that meaning in that that's the point by which you realize it's a familiar, ongoing theme that takes different angles, positions, contexts, and colors. And through those different angles, contexts, and colors, you are able to bring wholesome healing to your natal Chiron placement. And that is through the satellite effect of the transiting Chiron towards the wholesome healing of the natal Chiron. Understand that. And Saturn has a lot to do with directing in timeline how that goes about. As long as fear is limiting us, as long as we are giving interpretations to our burdens and karmic limitations, cycles, experiences, restrictions, karmic contracts, karmic bonds, if we continue to miss the point of these things, we also continue to miss opportunity with Uranus. Uranus is how we set ourselves free, or better yet, Uranus is the provision after we have freed ourselves, that is through truth, okay? Because truth is what remedies Chiron. That's what remedies. Without truth, we see limitation. Without truth, we see what we would call inevitable. Without truth, we would see the victim in ourselves. Without truth, we would see, oh, there's no other way, there's no other choice, this is the only way, this is just my limitation, this is my fate. But that's only because we fail to brave what is possible beyond what we are used to, what we are willing to confront in ourself or our reality, and what truth we are willing to align with and embody. Because remember, truth is what makes people run. It's what makes people hide. It's what makes people guard themselves. It's what makes you gasp and clutch your pearls, dealing with truth. Comfort, convenience, the convenient bliss of ignorance. These are things that gets in the way of healing. Healing is a painful process. Nurturing is a comforting process. And there's a difference. Healing is painful. It is painful to heal. Understand that. And healing requires us to keep truth in sight. When you disconnect from truth, you are no longer healing. When you disassociate from truth, you are no longer in active healing. You can nurture all you want, but you're nurturing a bone that's growing incorrectly. You can put that cast on if you want to, but if the bone is not growing correctly, you got to break it again. So what are you accomplishing? We've got to get to Uranus, and we're not going to get there being scared.